Hi folks, welcome to the channel and thanks for joining me. So this is probably going to be a little bit of a mini series, but I'm basically going to try and rejuvenate the workshop and get it back into a usable position again. Now, I built this in around 2007 and it had a very specific purpose at the time. I was doing motorbike repairs and restoration, but specifically as well I was making stained glass windows, and I had a stained glass design, manufacture and installation business back in the day as well. I was using it as a studio for my stained glass and the kiln work and all of that. So that was as it was. Over the years it's changed form. It's been somewhat of a junk store, as these things often do, and anyone that's seen any of our other videos knows that Rachel and I are starting to do a lot more work with furniture repairs, painting, flipping, that kind of thing, and we need somewhere indoors that we can sand, prep and indeed spray or otherwise paint the furniture. Plus also I need some space to be able to do more of my business in electronic repairs, because quite frankly my other workshop is getting overrun and I need somewhere to do some other bits and pieces, for example working on cocktail arcade games and things like that. So when this room was originally built, or this building at least, it was 3 meters by 2 meters, and it was effectively built into 2 rooms. There was actually a stud partition wall, which I'll show you the remnants of in a moment, and I had a stained glass studio in one area, and I actually had a gym in the area that we're in now, which is why the floor is different to that on the other side of the unit. Now, I also then extended, because I was repairing and restoring vintage motorcycles at the time as well, I was working out into the courtyard area adjacent to this building, and I decided that I needed to keep all the things indoors, so I extended the workshop out to the side to make it 5 meters square, so 25 square meters, around 225 square feet I think. And then everything was kind of going fairly well, and I was collecting motorbikes. I wanted to open a motorbike museum and it needed sort of space really. I had I think 12 bikes in the extension on the house and 12 or 13 bikes out here in the workshop, but to do that I had to knock down the wall between what was the gym and my old stained glass studio, just to make one space to be able to move everything around and get the bikes in and out and that kind of thing. Now, with the word that we dare not speak on YouTube from 2019, I'm sure you know what we're all talking about, I lost most of my other work there because I was a professional musician, and indeed I was using my house as an Airbnb, and both a public performance as a musician and indeed Airbnb were both outlawed, illegal during the word that we dare not speak. And so basically all bets were off. I had to sell my bikes. Gone was the dream of having the bike museum that I wanted to open, and I needed to sell the bikes to pay the way and all the rest of it. Anyway, by the by, I then started a new business, and although I'm still semi-professional as a musician, I've got my own business as well. So what we've decided to do is, Rachel and I said, look, I'm using this as a store. It was rammed. I mean, it's now about 80% cleared, would you believe it? It was a real mess, to the point where, as I say, 225 square feet, and I promise you, sometimes I had to literally pick up my own leg and try and place my foot somewhere where I wouldn't stand on something. It was just totally a mess in here, and the boxes were piled. These ceilings are nearly 8 foot tall, and the boxes were piled almost to the ceiling for various things that we had going on, and you just could not move in here. It was pitch black. It was just an absolute mess. So anyway, we decided that we didn't really need a lot of the stuff that was in here. We've been in the process of clearing it out, sorting it out, selling some bits and pieces that we don't think we're going to use so much now. You know, I've still got pressure tanks for sandblasting and all kinds of stuff in here, the motorcycle and car tyre changing kit and all sorts of things that we just don't need now. So we're going to get rid of some stuff, make some space, and we've decided what we're going to do is put the wall back in. So we're going to put a new stud wall back, then that way I can have half of the unit, well, a third of the unit for my electronics repairs, and then Rachel can have sort of a section here that she can do the furniture repairs and the flipping, and I've still got part of the unit for working on, you know, my sole remaining motorbike and doing a bit of tinkering and stuff like that. Massive long backstory, sorry to bore you guys, but I wanted to give you a bit of perspective as to where we are. So essentially what we want to do now is, whilst the weather's nice, just start sorting everything out. I've got tons of stuff everywhere, but as I say, we've had a good sort out the last few weeks already. Probably about 80% of the contents of this workshop have already gone. So when I turn around and show you maybe some b-roll or whatever else in a bit, you'll think, crikey, what an absolute mess this place is. But trust me, it's to us it's almost complete, and I want to crack on and order the materials to build the stud wall. So what we've got going on is I've got some cheap racking for now, and I'm going to put some racking along one side of the wall. That will allow me to, well, A, little bit of workspace, but B, some of the things that are already on the floor can then go onto the racking as well. That'll help tidy things up. And then I want to have somewhere where Rachel can put all her bits and pieces in here for her furniture. So here we go then. First thing I want to do, just give you a quick whistle stop tour of what's in here, and we'll go from there. Okay then, so go for a little walk around, shall we? Hopefully it's light enough in here. I've got fluorescent strip lights. I'll just show you. There's one up there. There are a couple up there. There's one or two in the other room as well, and they're not on because they might be a bit flickery. Part of the plan for when we make this more of a workshop area that we can do more filming in is we're going to replace those with LED lights so they won't flicker too much. But anyway, here we go. Wondering why I'm waving the camera around looking at all this junk, but there are everything in here from the car parts, motorcycle parts, yeah, sorting. So I'm sorting out the workshop, and so everything's sort of off the wall and off of the racks for now. But this is going to be the painting room, I think, for the furniture. So I've got the 100-litre Sealy compressor down in the corner there. I've got a cupboard there that I need to sort out because Rachel, I think, wants to put brushes and stuff like that in. Just started putting a few bits up on the wall out of the way for now, and a nice handy little cupboard here. Now it's on one of those kind of skateboard things, but I normally need those for my amplifiers for work, so I've just popped it on there for now. Just kind of allowed us to sort of wheel this around a little bit if we needed to. Useful little cupboard actually, nice quality. And there's a few bits in there already, but we've ordered some casters, so we'll put some casters on that one. That will allow us to actually wheel it around and use it as a mobile work surface as well in this particular room. As I say, this particular room, because if I, and again, going back to what I was saying about the mess in this place, I'm having to be super careful about where I stand as I walk around here. But basically, there you go, look, I'm already knocking stuff over. Can you see the floor change there? And that's because this part of the room was actually a gym at one point. And there we go. So this is going to be the painting area and prep area for the actual the furniture. And you can see I very quickly patched up, you might just see it along there, some scruffiness along the ceiling. And that's because after I took the wall out, obviously there was not damage, but holes in the ceiling where that all needed to be done. There are some witness marks, bits of plaster on the walls from where the old stud wall used to be, and indeed the original threshold to the door actually is along there as well, where that used to be. So anyway, the room I'm in, this is going to be the prep area for the furniture, particularly for Rachel really. Over here I've probably got half a dozen bike stands just there for the motorbikes, car ramps, axle stands, motorcycle tyre changer. I think that can go, I can't even, case in point, I just knocked one of the saws with my heel as I walked past. This place is just full of junk. Step ladder, oh that's a chest of drawers that Rachel's granddad actually built, I think. And what else have we got? So yeah, tyre changer. I won't be changing any bike tyres anytime soon. I think that can go. I've got grit there for the sandblasters. There's a pressure pot for sandblasting there. Just boxes of junk, car repair stuff. I used to repair classic bikes and cars, so got various fillers and sanders and buffing compounds. There's a welding machine just there, drop saws, chop saws, guitar cases, thousands of guitar picks, Haynes manuals. Already used that bookshelf over there. That one was already a little shelf in the other area, and I've just started taking stuff off of those so that what I've done is the shelves. Oh, see what I mean? I've just, this is me literally turning on a sixpence. Got ladders behind me. Got to watch where I walk to tell you all this stuff. It is honestly, look, there we go, knocking stuff on the floor. You wouldn't believe it, honestly. So motorcycle fairings. Anyway, as I was saying, so we've got shelves there that were emptied to go onto the bookcase over there, out of the way. Yeah, there's a couple of cocktail arcade machines. We've probably got about 8 of these at the moment that I need to repair and work on. So they're in there. Would you believe it, there's a motorbike on a ramp in there, but I can't get to anything. I mean, just look around, you know, this is with most of the stuff gone. You just can't see anything, and yet there's some of my tools. There's cobwebs on everything. You can probably see I used to have pride in all of this. There's some tools all the way along the top there. If you look, you know, I used to actually have pride, and it wasn't so much pride, it was being able to get to stuff. You know, everything was really nice. It was like a MotoGP garage in here at one point, all painted floors, and just looked gorgeous in here. And now it is just junk, it's carnage. So like I say, I'm kind of just showing you all this, whether you are that interested or not, apologies, but this is kind of just to document it really before we do anything. So the wall then is going to go between those 2 sets of flooring basically, and there you go, apart from the parts washer and the massive, by the way, this in there is a rather nice guitar amp that used to belong to Roland Orzabal of Tears for Fears. Used to tour with it. Very nice amp. But anyway, by the by. So yeah, as I say, the wall is going to go across there. There's well handy loft hatch up there as well. Lots of stuff can be stashed up there. You might just see the shadow mark where the old wall was. So yeah, basically what we've got to do is make a start here, I think, and the plan is to clear all of this stuff out of this corner. Loads of oils and things like that, and chemicals and what have you on that rack there. Lose all this stuff, put it out in the garden, find somewhere to put all this lot here, use this space to build the rack in, and then put the rack in over there, put the things in on and around the rack in to clear the floor over there. And then we'll be able to be in a position to start thinking about getting the wall built. But yeah, so there you go guys. As I say, it's just like a completely random walk around some old guy's shed. I can appreciate that, but honestly, I mean, I'm just trying to, you know, various effects pedals, speakers, fire extinguishers. I mean, honestly, it is junk, just mess. And so want to get it nice. There we go. Anyway, it was just to kind of show you guys, to share a bit of that with you, because the next job is to start emptying all this stuff out of here, making some space and getting some racking in. Okay guys, there's a whistle stop tour. The racking's due tomorrow, so do subscribe, hit the notification bell for updates, and we'll start getting this place ship shape and in good condition to start doing some decent work and carrying on with our projects. So thanks very much for your time today. Do subscribe, hit the bell for updates, and I'll see you in the next one. All the best for now. Bye bye.